Thus, if we wish to consult experts concerning the soundness of my activity and intentions, we must seek them anywhere except at the Reichsbank. Consider, for example, the accomplishments of its former president, Koch, who produced a huge volume on the Reichsbank containing a compilation of all laws involved in its operation. Yet the words price and where do not appear in the entire volume. I mean to say that this fact is sufficient to prove that the Reichsbank management does not see the existence of the currency problem. This is also shown by the fact that Hovenstein only speaks of means of payment. The demand of means of payment becomes with him a demand of means of exchange. And here, in this mistaken conception of the true nature of money, which saturates the banking profession, must be recognized, in last instance, the cause of the paper money bungling and of the economic breakdown. What bitter consequences this totally false estimation of the banker's profession can bring us has recently been demonstrated in Paris. There, the unbelievable happened. Germany actually assumed the obligation to pay 100 billions of gold marks without protecting herself from fluctuations in the price of gold, so that we are now exposed to all the dangers involved in such fluctuations. The quantity of labor and labor products to be delivered for these 100 billions plus interest thereon may be eventually doubled or trebled. Our creditors, the Americans, are not soft-hearted, sentimental men, but smart exploiters. They do not care whether Germany is condemned to eternal slavery, but will pursue an active policy of raising the purchasing power of gold. If Germany formerly, for the purpose of usurious exploitation of a natural monopoly, closed down a number of potash mines, why wouldn't the Americans, applying the same recipe, see to it that the African gold mines are closed in order to raise the price of gold? And if this does not suffice, why shouldn't they, for the same purpose, sink into the ocean 100 billions? Doesn't it happen that entire shiploads of wares are dumped into the ocean in order to raise their price, that hundreds of thousands of workers of the building trades are put out in the streets in order to prevent a further fall of the rentals? And the effect of this would be the same as if the work products of these hundreds of thousands of workers were dumped into the sea. The bankers, who were sent to Paris by Germany, have committed treason, just as they did when they sold the welfare of the people to the gold standard 50 years ago. Morgan, the stock exchange robber, is now our creditor, and Shylock, our judge. Yet, in the face of all this, it would have been easy to create safety valves for these various dangers. In Woodrow Wilson, we would have had an understanding helper because he made the reasonable proposal a few years ago to adapt the gold contents of the dollar to the fluctuation of the index and thus stabilize the purchasing power of money. It is a detour to the stable currency, yet it would have been sufficient. Now it is too late. But to the banker we must say, cobbler, stay with your last. My position is most remarkable, almost unique. I have to furnish you, gentlemen, with the proof that I am an expert, and in order to enable you to judge, I must educate you to the position of experts and pull down from their high pedestals those who have for decades exclusively enjoyed the reputation of being experts. Ban what you have idolized till now, and idolize what until now you have banned. Gentlemen, I ask you to inspect and enjoy one of the great jokes of the Reichsbank. Just take a look at the inscription which Mr. Hovenstein has edited for the money bills. Here you read, Berlin, May 1st, 1919. Thus quite recent. The Reichsbank pays to the owner on presentation, without identification, 100 mark. Just observe the word pays on the bill. An object can only be used to pay with when it is in some way visible by means of various colors or space limitation. Now, just go to the Reichsbank and ask to be shown the concrete and visible object which the Reichsbank has promised to pay. They will slam the door in your face. The inscription, therefore, means that the bank returns to the owner the bill. Obvious nonsense. Falsification of the most important document of the country. And that knowingly, because on May 1st, 1919, when Hovenstein wrote this, he knew what he was writing. According to the facts, the inscription should be, this money bill issued by the Reichsbank serves as legal tender for 100 mark. He who wants to cash it must turn to those who buy it for goods. But the Reichsbank would rather make itself ridiculous before any chambermaid than to admit that it is at the end of its wits. Blinded by the gold illusion, it is forcing the country deeper and deeper into disaster. Above our heads hangs the paper money avalanche of 40 billions. The break of the glacier is unavoidable, unless soon effective measures are taken. And to accomplish this, you do not need an expert, of which there are so many by that name, but me.